It's time now for Perspective. I'm Clark Donnelly.
And I'm Christy Kemper. Perspective is a 30-minute program that takes a look at issues that affect our community. Good morning and welcome to Perspective. The Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio serves Franklin County and neighboring areas with solutions for solid waste. They're one of 52 solid waste districts created by the Ohio General Assembly back in 1989, and these districts were established with the mission of reducing reliance on landfills. Acting upon that mission, SWACO provides consumers recycling opportunities around Franklin County at over 200 recycling drop-off locations. SWACO is developing educational resources to help Franklin County event organizers. We are in the event season for summer, a lot of outdoor activities, to meet their goals of environmental stewardship and cost savings. My guest this morning is Communications Manager with SWACO, Hannah Greer. I'd like to welcome her to the show this morning as we talk about two special webinars that are coming up to talk about this. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning, Christy. Thanks for the invitation to be on this morning.
And thank you so much for joining us. So what was the impetus for getting these webinars together?
Well, just as you mentioned, as the weather is turning warmer, many residents and families are looking forward to the public events and outdoor festivals that are going to be taking place across our community. And so what SWACO wanted to accomplish was develop a set of resources to help our local event organizers reduce the amount of waste our events are creating and increase the amount of recycling that they're doing. And so we've created a series of resources. One of them are these webinars that are coming up in June.
And really, this is for people. It doesn't matter how big the event is, big or small. It's for anyone, even neighborhood parties.
That's correct. Yep, these are free, open to any event organizers in Franklin County, and you can do it right at the ease of your computer. You just log in and register for free, and join us for a quick 30-minute tutorial on how to plan a green event in Franklin County.
Now, the first one is going to be held June the 15th. It's a half-hour long, 12:30 until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the first webinar. Explain to us what's going to be involved in this.
Sure, that's correct. So June 15th at 12:30, we're going to focus on just kind of getting back to basics of recycling. What can be recycled and how to recycle properly. Too many times, I think we each find ourselves in a situation of wanting to be well-intentioned with our recycling, so we toss any of our plastics in the recycling bin. And so the purpose of this webinar is to help our local event organizers be confident and know precisely what are appropriate items that should go in their recycling containers, what should be put in the trash can, and how can they reduce the amount of waste that they're generating in the first place.
Let's talk about what can be recycled and what cannot be recycled, because there's a lot of people that, even myself, still question, can this be recycled? I'm not sure.
Sure, that's a great question. We find all the time that people recycle everything.
Yes.
They want to make sure they're recycling. And so for whether you're at an event or you're recycling at your curb in Franklin County or you're using one of the SWACO drop-off recycling containers, the accepted materials are paper and cardboard. So any of your office papers, your cardboard boxes, your newspapers, all of that can be included. We also accept plastic bottles and jugs. And so the one thing that's really important there is that the neck of your bottle should be smaller than the base of the bottle.
Okay.
That's one way to determine whether the plastic bottle that you want to recycle is actually recyclable in Franklin County. Paper cartons, so your juice or milk jugs that are cartons, some of your soup or broth containers, those can be recycled. And then, of course, your aluminum and steel cans and your glass bottles and jars are all accepted for recycling.
Well, okay, we're talking about that. Summer events, there's going to be a lot of, let's just say, soda pops in in those types of cans, and all of that can be recycled. Do you suggest that people have, of course, different recycling bins clearly labeled for people to say, hey, listen, your paper plates are going to go in here, your cans are going to go in here, your other paper products are going to go in here. Does that make it easier?
Absolutely. One of the best practices that we're going to cover in our June 22nd webinar, that's the second webinar we have scheduled, that's on June 22nd at 12:30. We'll focus on diving into the specific strategies to reduce waste and improve recycling. One of those is creating consistent recycling and waste signage. So exactly what you pointed out. we know that if we consistently communicate what goes in and what doesn't go in, it's going to increase our, the confidence of attendees at events to place the proper recycling in the recycling container and waste in the trash bin.
Hannah Greer, Communications Manager with SWACO, the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio, talking about how SWACO has developed educational resources to help Franklin County event organizers meet the goals of environmental stewardship and cost savings. 2 webinars. First one going to take place on the 15th of June, 12:30 until 1, and the second one a week later, the 22nd of June, 12:30 until 1 again. And can we go to SWACO.com in order to get the links to get registered?
Absolutely, Christy. That web address is SWACO.org. That's SWACO.org.
And how are we doing? Let's talk about recycling here in Central Ohio. How are we doing as a community really recycling our stuff and cutting down on the waste that we have a tendency to gather?
That's a great question, Christy. So one of the things we're really excited about is that last year SWACO was able to help the Franklin County community reach a new all-time high rate of recycling. We now, as a community, recycle 45% of all the waste we generate, which is beating the national average of 34%. So
wow.
We're really proud of that. We've got more work to do, but that's something as a community we should all be proud of.
And of course, SWACO known for community outreach, like you're doing these webinars, but also we talk about summer and things like that. A lot of people find summer cleaning, like they're going through their house or they're going through their garage. What about household hazardous waste? Is there a collection that you guys do, or how can we find out information about that? Like say I've got old paint cans or spray paint cans. How do we recycle those?
That's great. Yeah. So SWACO does support 4 mobile collection household hazardous waste events each year. We have 3 coming up this fall. September 9th and September 30th are the next 2 events that residents can attend. You can go to SWACO.org and search HHW or household hazardous waste to get the details on those events. We also operate a permanent facility that's open several days during the week, primarily Wednesday through Fridays, and that location is at 645 East 8th Avenue. And the directions are available on our website also.
Now, if people have questions about, listen, I've got these old batteries. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with them. Can we give SWACO a call and get some direction on what we can get rid of?
Absolutely. We have a receptionist that answers our phone Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. She's an excellent resource, and we'd encourage people to call area code 614-871-5100.
If there's people out there, Hannah, that doesn't really understand what SWACO does, do you offer tours for people to go through and say, hey, listen, this is where your trash goes and this is what we do with it?
We do. We value the opportunity to take the community on a tour of the landfill, because one of the things we like to demonstrate when we're up on the working face of the landfill is the amount of material that comes to the landfill that could be recycled. People are startled to learn that we take in over 1 million tons of waste, which is safely disposed of each year, but that 70% of that waste could have been recycled or diverted away from the landfill. And so that's a real eye-opening opportunity, something that people leave our landfill tours wanting to do more, wanting to recycle more. And so absolutely, they can email us at tours, TOURS, at SWACO.org.
Now, Hannah, I know it's hard to believe, but I know that there are some people out there that don't recycle. What do you say to them? How important it is to take the time? It doesn't take a lot of time. And what excuses do you usually hear about? I just kind of throw it all together. It's all going to go to the same place anyway.
Sure. Well, I think one of the biggest myths associated with recycling is that it's complicated or hard to understand, and really it's not. SWACO wants people to know that recycling is easy, it's convenient. 96% of the households in Franklin County have access to curbside recycling, so at least once a week, or not once a week, but every couple of weeks, their recycling can be picked up right at their curb. SWACO, as you mentioned earlier in this call, SWACO has over 100 neighborhood drop-off recycling containers where if you live in an apartment or a multifamily housing complex and you don't have curbside recycling, you can take your recycling to one of those convenient locations. So those are the takeaways I want people who aren't currently recycling to think about. Also, you may not be doing a lot today when it comes to recycling.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy just to commit to doing a little bit more. You don't have to commit to being a zero waste household, but just commit to recycling your newspaper, your office papers. Take a small step forward, and there are so many public health, and economic and environmental benefits to recycling.
Again, my guest this morning is Hannah Greer, Communications Manager with SWACO, and getting the word out about how important recycling is. And for those that aren't doing it, you should. And I know that a lot of retail stores, they offer different kind of recycling bins that have everything labeled, so it makes it easy. It's like, I don't want to have to go through the trash in my own house. But this day and age, it really is commonplace, and you can find something to make it easier for you, so when you go out to your garbage, you know exactly that it's already been sorted.
That's correct.
The webinars, again, 2 of them, the 15th of June and the 22nd of June, and you can go to SWACO.org in order to register for those. They're only a half hour long and just chock full of information because, again, bringing up the fact that it's summertime and there's a lot of festivals, the big ones, you talk about the Jazz and Ribs Fest downtown, or perhaps your little, neighborhood get together, have those bins out there and get ready to recycle.
That's so true. And so one of the other things that we offer to event organizers is, so these 2 webinars are going to focus on the best practices for reducing event waste and recycling at events, but we also have an event container loan program.
Oh, really?
If you're a local event here in Franklin County and you're open to the public, but you don't have the infrastructure to actually do recycling and waste collection, we have 150 containers available for rent, and that's open again to event organizers in Franklin County. They can rent those by putting down a small security deposit, and we will make those available. So you can learn more about that at SWACO.org.
Now, I know we have the Columbus Arts Fest coming up on June the 9th until Sunday, June the 11th. And, of course, SWACO, you guys are going to be out there, correct?
Well, we have had a long-standing partnership with the Arts Festival, and last year we were able to help the Arts Festival divert over 8.5 tons of material.
Wow.
And so we're really excited about that. Again, something to be celebrated here in Franklin County. We also partnered with Rock on the Range last year. That event, as you may know, has over 120,000 attendees.
Oh, yeah.
We were able to, over the course of 3 days, divert 17 tons of recyclables. So lots of community events committed to reducing their waste and recycling here in Franklin County, and we're just so proud of those partnerships.
And it's great because Columbus is such a great city, and we have so many festivals. We're talking about the Columbus Arts Fest, but also River Fest, too.
That's correct. And, last year we partnered with another downtown festival called the Columbus Food Truck Festival. We were able to divert over 1 ton of recyclables and compost 181 pounds of pre-consumer food waste. So that was something unique and something important that was accomplished.
Now, Hannah, before I let you go, we're talking about all the different educational things you have going on, like classroom activities. Of course, school's out for the summer, but during the school year, Partners in Education, what's the e-waste diversion program?
Yeah, so e-waste is anything that maybe in your home or your office that has a cord. And actually, it stands for electronic waste.
Okay.
It covers almost any electronic device with a cord or a battery. Something that's surprising to know about e-waste, or maybe it's not as surprising given that we are all on our cell phones and our tablets all the time, but it's one of the fastest growing waste sectors in the United States. So SWACO partners with local communities in Franklin County and schools and others to help safely dispose of unwanted e-waste. And so, again, at SWACO.org, you can learn about that program, and, we support both the collection of e-waste at local businesses and communities, but also through mobile collection events that are sponsored by communities.
Make it top of mind. Recycle, recycle, recycle. Hannah, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Hannah Greer, Communications Manager with SWACO. You have a great week.
Thanks so much, Christy.